Okay, we're going to take another look at yesterday's lesson 12-2, fractions and regions, okay? A fraction can be used to name part of a whole. So the denominator shows the total number of equal parts in a whole. The numerator shows how many equal parts are described, okay? So we have a denominator and a numerator. Okay, denominator down, numerator is up on the top, okay? Denominator is the total number of parts needed for a whole, okay? So if I take a pizza and I divide it into 2 equal parts, my denominator is going to be 2, okay? No matter what, because that's how many parts I need to make the whole. That's the denominator, okay? Then if I choose to shade in one of them, my numerator would be 1 because that's how many are shaded in. If I shaded in both of them, my numerator would be 2. And 2 halves is going to equal 1 whole because it's the whole thing, okay? So let's do another one, okay? Take a circle and divide it into 4 parts, okay? What is your denominator? How many total parts do you have to make a whole? 4 parts. Let's say I shade in 1. That's my numerator. How many parts are shaded? 1 out of the 4, 1/4. Let's say I shade in this one. Okay, now I have 2/4. Let's say I shade in this one. Now my fraction is 3/4. And let's say I shade in this one. Now my fraction is 4/4. Okay? So the denominator down, that's our bottom number, shows the total number of equal parts in a whole. The numerator shows how many equal parts are described. It might be that it's the number that's shaded, or they might ask the number that's unshaded, or they might say how many are left, or they might say how many are gone, okay? So they're asking for out of the total number of parts in the whole, the denominator, that's always goes on the bottom, how many parts are left. So number of 1/4 parts shaded. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So our denominator is 4, and out of the 4, we have 2 parts shaded. So that would be 2/4. So our denominator is 4. How many parts total? Our numerator is 2. Okay, write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole. Next, write the number of the shaded parts. Then write a fraction for the whole that is shaded. Okay, that's a lot. So let's just figure out what they're talking about first. Write a unit fraction. A unit fraction means 1. How much is 1 square? We want to write a fraction that represents just 1 square out of how many parts we have. Doesn't matter if we've divided into 10 parts, or we've divided into 5 parts, or we've divided into 4 parts. What does one of those parts, how would you write a fraction for one of them? That's a unit fraction. So we just want to know this guy right here. How do we write a fraction for that part? Okay, so our unit, so we're going to do unit, okay? Our unit fraction is 1. It's always, the numerator is always going to be 1 because we're always talking about one section. And now let's count how many parts total we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the unit fraction is 1/8. Let's do a unit fraction on this one. Okay. Denominator is how many parts total? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we want to talk about a unit fraction means 1 part. So it's 1/4. Okay. This is a unit fraction. It just means 1 piece. Okay. Unit. Okay. Your denominator means how many parts total do you have to make a whole. Okay. And the unit is one of them. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one we're talking about. I want you to pause it and I want you to write a unit fraction for number 4, 5, and 6. Okay, pause it and come back. Just write a unit fraction for each one of those. Pause it. Okay, the unit fraction for this should have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My denominator is 6, and we're talking about one of them. 1, 2, 3. My denominator is 3. We're talking about 1. Unit is, this is divided into 2, and we're talking about 1. Okay? Now, let's write a fraction for the number of shaded parts, okay? We're gonna write S for shaded. Okay? Okay. So, shaded parts, okay? Again, my denominator is going to be 8 in all of these. My denominator is going to be the same as it is for a unit fraction. How many sections do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 total. How many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 eighths, okay? Here, again, we're talking about shaded. So we have 4 sections total, and of those 4, how many are shaded? 3, okay? Shaded. Okay, my denominator is 3. Out of those 3, how many are shaded? 2. Okay, I want you to pause it, and I want you to write the number, the fraction that represents the shaded parts for this one, and that one, okay? I'm just dividing these up so you have some room. Okay, pause it, write the shaded. Okay, so your denominator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, numerator, how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 6 is shaded. Okay, denominator, how many parts total? 1, 2, 3. Shaded, 1. Okay, how many parts total? 2. Shaded, 2. Okay, now we're going to write the fraction of the whole. Oh, we already did that. Okay, so next write the number of shaded parts. Oh, they would just, okay, I see. They wanted you to write like, oh, there's 7 shaded parts, so therefore it's 7 eighths. So this one has 3 shaded parts, therefore it's 3/4. This one has 2 shaded parts, therefore it's 2/3. This one has 4 shaded parts, therefore it's 4/6. This one has 1 shaded part, there it's 1/3. Okay. Draw a rectangle that shows 2 equal parts. Okay. So divide it here. Of course, you could have divided it that too. And then shade 1/2. Okay, now I want you to write a fraction for the shaded part. How many parts total? 2. And how many parts are shaded? 1. Half of that is shaded. Okay, draw a circle that shows 8 equal parts. So you can draw a circle. Okay, 8 equal parts. We're going to take it and we're going to divide it into 4. And then we're going to divide each section into 4. Okay. So now we want to shade 2 eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have an 8 on the bottom, and I'm going to shade 2 of those sections. And that is 2 eighths. Okay, let's take a look on the back. All right, there are 6 cookies in 1 bag. How many cookies are in 5 bags? Okay, so this is a bar diagram. We have 5 bags of cookies, 1 bag, 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags, 5 bags, right? And there are 6 in each bag. So 5 bags and 6 in each bag, 30. Okay. All right, a banner is made of 8 equal parts. 5 of the parts are green, 3 of the parts are yellow. Draw and color the banner. Okay, so a banner, you're gonna make like a rectangle here. And I want you to pause it, and I want you to divide it into 8 equal parts, and I want you to color 5 of the parts green, 3 of the parts yellow, and then I want you to take a step further, and I want you to write the fraction that are green, and the fraction that are yellow, okay? So, you know, you can divide this in half first, like that, and then you would have to, you know, divide it into 4 parts that way, so you could go like this. Okay, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have your crayons home, but if you don't, then just use a pen for the green and a pencil for the blue or something like that. Pause it. I want you to do that, and then I want you to come back and check it. Okay, so I unfortunately don't have crayons, so purple here. This is my green, okay? 5 parts green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guess this is going to be my yellow. Not a very good yellow. Okay, so I want to write my denominator, okay? How many parts total do I have? We always do that first when we write our fraction, okay? How many parts total do we have? 8. And how many are green, which is really purple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5/8 are purple. Okay, and then yellow, which is really red. Okay, how many do I have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then how many are red? That would be 3. Okay, all right. 3 friends go bowling. Artie scores 52 points greater than Matthew's, and Matthew scores 60 points less than Greg's. If Greg's is 122, what is Artie's? Okay, well, that's a lot of information. So let's write A for Artie, M for Matthew, and G for Greg. Okay, so Artie is 52 points more than Matthew. So 52 points more than however many Matthew gets, right? Let's say Matthew had 10. That means Artie has 62, right? 10 plus 52. Okay, Matthew's points are 60 less than Greg. So however many Greg has minus 60, that's what Matthew is, okay? Greg is 122, okay? So we know what G is. So you could plug, instead of G, you could do 122 minus 60, and then that's going to give you Matthew's, and then you should be able to plug it in there and work those out. So use a separate piece of paper, work those out, pause it, and then come back. Okay, so if we do Matthew is 122 minus 60. Oops, that's a 2, sorry. So Matthew is equal to 62 points, which makes sense. He's 60 points less than Greg. So if Greg scored 122, Matthew scored 62. That's 60 points less. Artie is 52 plus Matthew. So that means that it's 52 plus 62, because that's how many Matthew has. So Artie has 14 points. Okay. All right, circle all the figures that show 3/4. Okay, so let's write fractions for all of these, okay? I want you to pause it, and I want you to write fraction. Now, don't fall for this one. This is not equal. There's no way that you would want that piece of chocolate compared to that piece of chocolate. So this, you can't even write a fraction for it because they're not equal parts. So I want you to pause it. I want you to write the fraction of the shaded parts for each one of those. Pause it and come back. Okay, I have 4 parts total and 2 shaded. I have 4 parts total and 3 shaded. So the ones that show 3/4 are this and that. Okay, Rashad draws a figure and divides it into equal parts. 2 of the parts are red. The other 4 parts are blue. Rashad says that 2/4 of the figure is red. What error is he making? Explain. Then write the correct fraction of the figure that is red. Okay, that's a lot of information. So Rashad draws a figure and divides it into equal parts. Okay, but we don't know how many parts, do we? So I can just go with the rectangle, okay? So some number of equal parts. Okay, 2 parts are red. The other 4 parts are blue. Okay, so if he's doing 2 parts red and 4 parts blue, and there aren't any other colors in there, how many parts total do we have? 2 are red, 4 are blue. So how many parts total do you have? 2 and 4. So you have a total of 6 equal parts, right? So he says, Rashad says 2/4 of the figure is red. There's no way. How many parts total do you have? 6?